If I had to start my MBA at ISB all over again tomorrow, knowing the chaos, the pressure, and the insane number of opportunities that would be thrown at me from day one, there are exactly 3 systems that I would build immediately to not just survive but to thrive in the program. Hey everyone, I'm Mrinal, and as a graduate of ISB and BITS Pilani, I have seen firsthand what separates the students who get overwhelmed from the ones who stay in control. Let me paint a picture of what life at a top B school like ISB can really be like. So forget whatever you have seen in the movies like The Social Network, American Pie, or any other college movie, whether Hollywood or Bollywood. But imagine this, you have assignments due almost every single day. You have midterms and final exams literally every fortnight. And there are countless case competitions, networking events, and parties happening all at once. And with over 300 of us on a tiny campus, it felt like someone had a birthday party every single night. So it's a non-stop, high-pressure environment designed to see who can really handle the pressure. My first few weeks were a complete mess because I was just trying to get a handle on assignments, networking opportunities, and barely getting any sleep. And that's when I realized that just like at BITS, working harder wasn't the answer here. I needed a better system, and thankfully during my time over at BITS and then prepping for exams like CFA and the GMAT, I had developed a few key principles that helped me build a good foundation to manage my life at ISB. And today we are going to talk about that exact system. 3 core principles, and so let's start with the first one. So principle 1 is the capture system. And it is about dealing with the constant flood of information that you get on campus. Our everyday schedules were packed with at least 4 hours of lectures, assignments, tutorials, and events of all kinds. During all of this hustle and bustle, you might have an idea for a case competition that you are working on while you are in a marketing lecture. So you'll remember a networking email that you have to send while you are at a friend's birthday party. And if you try to hold all of that in your head, it will explode. And as the author David Allen says, your mind is for having ideas, not holding them. So you need an external second brain, which is a trusted place to capture everything important and relevant that crosses your mind. And my system for this was ridiculously simple and used 2 free tools. Tool number 1 was Google Keep. This was for recording and documenting any fleeting thought that crossed my mind and felt important. If I had a sudden idea for a case competition or remembered that I needed to email a professor, I would capture it in Keep in under 10 seconds. It's like a digital sticky note that syncs across all of my devices. Tool number 2 was Notion, which was my ISB headquarters. This was my digital hub for everything substantial. If I read an interesting article for my class or received some study material for an assignment, I would dump it into a quick capture page in Notion. But remember, this stage isn't about organization. It is just about capturing all your information in one central place by externalizing everything. So what happens by externalizing all of this information at a central system? You free up your mind to do what it does best, which is to think. Now let's talk about principle 2, which is the time system. So you have captured all of your tasks and ideas. Now how do you actually find the time to do them? So this brings us to the second principle, which is you must control your day or your day will control you. So the default state at B school is chaos because the norm for most students is to be reactive. You wake up, you check your email, you go to class and just react to whatever comes your way. And this is a recipe for mediocrity. The top 1% students create order, not chaos. They design their day with intention, and the framework that I have found to be the most effective is time blocking. So you might have heard about it on the internet elsewhere, and here is how it works. So instead of working from a to-do list, you schedule your tasks directly into your calendar. It's like giving every hour of your day a job. Now, of course, it is unrealistic to follow everything to the T, But this process makes it very easy to visualize how your day is going to look like and what your week is going to look like and what all you need to do in that week and in that day to achieve and prioritize. So time blocking was my only defense against the chaos at ISB, and that was all I needed, because my Google Calendar looked insane, but it was organized chaos. I would block out 3 hours for case prep deep work, but I would also block out 90 minutes for a networking dinner, for going to the gym, and even an hour for a friend's birthday party later in the evening. So the key thing wasn't to stop doing things, it was to decide in advance what was worth my time. So as Cal Newport says in his book Deep Work, time blocking instills a relentless focus on what is really important. It turns your good intentions into a concrete plan and protects your time from the endless stream of distractions. Now, with that in mind, let's move on to principle number 3, the review system. This final principle is the one that ties everything together. It is the system that ensures that you are not just busy working on the right things, but that you are making progress towards your long-term goals. I call this principle my CEO weekly meeting with myself. Every Sunday, I would sit down for just 30 minutes and review my entire week gone by, because it is so easy to get caught in the day-to-day grind of deadlines and forget the bigger picture. And this meeting was my way of zooming out and making sure that the ship was still heading in the right direction. And here we come back to Notion, which was much more than just a dumping ground for ideas and materials in a centralized location. It is where I structured my entire MBA and, in a way, my entire life. So I created a master page for each course in each term. Inside, I would have my digital notes, links to my assignments, and outlines for my presentations, all organized in one clean dashboard. And to make it all work seamlessly, I stored the actual heavy files like presentation, decks, and PDFs that were shared in class on Google Drive. And then I would just paste the Google Drive link directly into my Notion page. This simple system meant that with one link, I could access every single thing related to a course from any device, and trust me, it was an absolute game changer for staying on top of the chaos. My process here was very simple. Number 1 was to clear. So I would process my Google Keep notes and my universal inbox section in Notion, moving items to their proper assigned place in the dashboard. Step number 2 is to get current. What I mean by that is I would review my calendar from the past week, and I would think what went well, what did I miss, and what could have been done better. And the third step was to get creative. So I would look at my long-term goals. For example, getting an A in a specific course or securing a rank in a case competition, and ask myself, what is the most important thing that I can do in the next week to move closer to that goal? And that would become my top priority for my time blocking session in the next week. So this weekly review can be the difference between you just being a busy student, barely trying to keep up the curriculum, and you being strategic control of your own life and career. So that was my whole system to manage my life at ISB. And to be honest, it's not about being a productivity robot. It is about creating a structure that gives you more freedom and more control of your time. So the 3 principles that we discussed were the capture system to get everything out of your head, the time system, which is all about designing your days with intention, and thirdly, the review system to stay aligned with your big picture goals. And this is the system that took me from feeling overwhelmed at bits to feeling in much more control at ISB, and still does in my corporate career. So that's it for this video, and if you found it helpful, save it for when you're planning your next semester and your classes, and share it with a friend who actually needs a planning system to manage their life and their studies. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.